What happens when you are in a room, a ritual is about to start, and nobody gave you the manual? What if the thing that scares you the most, the unfamiliar, the unscripted, the social unknown, is actually the doorway to discover a beautiful and new experience in your life? Welcome back to ASD is Ability. I'm Joan Torrance, and this podcast is about discovering strength in neurodiversity, particularly in Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD, as well as ADHD and beyond. Today's episode is one I didn't plan. It happened to me, and I'm delighted to share with you. My family and I were invited to a Malaysian friends gathering in Cambridge to celebrate Chinese New Year. In that evening, something happened that I was completely unprepared for. Yee Sang. In this episode, I will tell you exactly what that moment felt like from the inside of an ASD brain. The freeze, the scramble, the awkward leap of faith. I will share how it went, what I discovered by the way I behave, and what it told me about navigating the new, the unscripted, and a social gathering with elements unknown. Let me set the scene. It was a Chinese New Year dinner with some friends in Cambridge, and their heritage is from Malaysia. It was a very warm and welcoming evening where we were just really gathering together and just having a really good time in preparation for the actual dinner and celebration. The table was full of color. There were a lot of decorations for Chinese New Year, and the lights really made a good effect on the reflections on the plates. My wife was preparing some of dishes with the host as well, and as it is Chinese celebration, it was plenty of dishes building up on the table. To the point that I was thinking, I wonder if more people are going to come over because there's a lot of food on here. One of the dishes they were preparing was a salad in a very large dish that were putting ingredients and elements in different mounds there. So one about shredded cucumber, shredded carrot, seeds, etc. And I thought, well, that's nice. It's a good salad for the table. At the same time, I heard that they were mentioning, is the delivery going to arrive on time? And I thought, delivery? What delivery? We already have plenty of food here. And they were expecting a delivery with some sashimi to arrive in preparation for the dinner. I was really confused because I was there on this celebration with plenty of dishes already on the table, prepared for the dinner. And there was going to be a delivery of more food. Moreover, they said it was coming from a Japanese place and they wanted sashimi. And I thought, okay, sashimi, sushi, well, that's quite multicultural. Let's see how things go. As you will see, as I explained in this episode, that's part also of my whole inexperience and also not knowing some of the Malaysian heritage traditions that we discover today. As we were going through it, the delivery arrived and sashimi arrived, and they put it on the salad, on the center of the salad. It is when they place on the table, in the center of the table, and very raised, they say, okay, now we can start dinner. I say, okay, I went there. And they said, we're going to celebrate with the Yee Sang. And I said, okay, Yee Sang, what's this? It's a celebration that we do, Chinese New Year, which is a celebration toss. Everybody around the table gets their chopsticks, and then they start tossing the salad, mixing the ingredients together, and that way, it's a good way of wishing. And I thought, well, that's something new, something I haven't done before. Of course, I was there thinking how this is gonna happen, how I'm gonna do this toasting, how I'm gonna be standing and doing something new I haven't done with other people around. It really created a freeze moment in my mind, which has happened before when something is very unfamiliar. And I was thinking, I will see how this goes. So what did I actually do in that moment? First of all, I watched to see how other people were starting to toss with the chopsticks. And I quickly mirrored some of their actions. Very cautiously, because I didn't know if they was doing right or wrong. And by doing it, I could see there was a pattern, and people were very relaxed, which means they were very familiar, and that gave me a lot of comfort. Yes, my tossing was not the best, not that anyone was checking, I believe. Still, I was able to be part of it and be part of celebration. It was actually at some point very, very welcoming that one of the people was tossing a bit too high, and the host said, "That's good. The more the higher you toss means the best wishes you have, and if it drops on someone, then it means even better because it's better luck." And I thought that's good to know, because it makes the whole experience, putting people together and sharing their wishes for the new lunar year, and also making sure that people feel welcome and respected around it. So the outcome was much better than initially expected. It could be because of my expectations and looking to do things perfectly, an unknown event for which I didn't have a manual. And the result was an excellent celebration. I was part of this toasting. People were just very relaxed, and it was a really good atmosphere, actually. Because after that, people sat down, and when we started having the whole dinner all together. So it was a really good example of the importance of relaxing when something unknown happens, which is not a threat or any dangerous situation. It's just a social gathering. And just because a social gathering is difficult, when someone has a neurodiversity of the one I have, then doesn't mean you cannot enjoy. So let's recap on how this situation helped me to see things in a different way. If you are neurodivergent and you find yourself drop into an unfamiliar social ritual, as it happened to me with a cultural celebration, there's ways to approach with more consciousness to have a better outcome. Apart from cultural celebration, could be a new workplace tradition, a family gathering, and any other event that you have with people you cherish and care. there are three things that help me that I want to show and share with you in case they can be helpful. First of all, nobody's expecting quick actions in environments like this. I allow myself a few seconds to observe what other people were doing, watching how others engage, how they were using the chopsticks, how they were tossing, helped me see what I could mirror to follow that tradition. Rather than jumping straight away, I observe. Second one is lower the bar for doing it perfectly. It was a social gathering with friends. It's a celebration. Nobody's checking if everybody's doing it perfectly or not. Sometimes there's not even perfect in these cases. The joy of it is just putting together and everybody having their input and their way of doing it. Yee Sang, as he told me later, is about intention. Tossing the salad is not a technique. It's a ritual to share with people that you love and care. Therefore, there's no need for any types of pressure. Third one, ask rather than not saying anything. When people started being standing and grabbing the chopsticks, I ask, standing now or and they say yes, because we're going to toast the Yee Sang and we're going to make these wishes. And I thought, that's good to know now. Okay, I'm standing. And without me asking, the host explained, this is what we're going to do, which is great because then I know what was the next step. If for whatever reason there was no explanation, then asking again would just help. There's no harm in that. As a summary, what I take from this experience is that any new event that happens to be unknown can be approached with curiosity instead of needing to control and deliver perfection. Particularly if it's a friends or family gathering, as it was in this case, just relax as much as possible. Knowing beforehand that it was a Chinese New Year celebration, which is about renewal and getting with people you care, should have told me that there was no need to be too tense. I guess, reflecting back, that also allowed me to approach this better, and when the initial freeze happened, I was able to find ways to divert that freeze to feeling more at ease, or at least as ease as I could be. To me, that's a situation that happens to people living with ASD, and I see important to share. Hence, me today sharing this experience with you, which has happened this week. In case anyone with ASD or a neurodiversity has been in a celebration this week that was new in terms of part of the ritual and had a similar experience. Thank you for listening to ASD is Ability. If today's episode resonated with you, if you have ever frozen at the edge of an unfamiliar ritual and had to decide how to step in, share it with someone who would understand that feeling. Next episode, we'll continue exploring how neurodiversity, and particularly ASD, affects the way we are and how we can navigate the differences and also the sensory environments. Because the world is full of diversity and we want to embrace it so we can make the most out of us. Until then, be curious, and if you are in a celebration in the coming weeks and someone asks a different ritual, you can take the advice of relaxing, observing, asking, and making the most out of it. You will find, as I found this week, that is a way to celebrate feeling better about oneself. Until next episode, have a good time.